Hello and welcome back. It's a segment of the topical discussion. We're still looking at the controversies in KCCA. Now, the Lord Mayor, formerly with a clean sheet, he's now a subject of investigation into how he cracked a deal with Photon East Africa, a Chinese company, promising them that he would use his might as the Lord Mayor to enable them establish a showroom. These are investigations underway in the IG's office, and how his officials allegedly obtained some favors or some offers from the Chinese company East Africa. And then in another series, the Lord Mayor is also embroiled in a scandal where he's allegedly collecting money, dues, from the city abattoir. We have with him, or rather we have with us, the Lord Mayor in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, Lord Mayor.
Thank you.
Can we assume that the hunter is now being hunted?
Well,
Finally.
it could be true, depending on the circumstances. Rather considering the circumstances obtaining on the ground right now, because these allegations come at a time when we are in the heat and noon of the parliamentary probe regarding KCCA maladministration. And you recall, the probe was initiated by a petition that I filed in Parliament.
You were the whistleblower.
Together with my colleagues, the mayors and some councillors, not all of them. So we said there is a lot to be investigated in as far as management of funds in KCCA is concerned. And I did say in the past we have passed a number of budgets. First it was 148 billion, then the second budget was 162 billion, and we wanted to establish before we go into the next phase of the budget cycle whether we have got value for money. And this was a genuine concern, considering the fact that we had failed to hold the accounting office accountable for our commission or omissions in a number of respects. And this is what prompted the probe. Midway the probe, then these allegations surfaced. And they came on the heels of the site visit by the Parliament, rather by the Parliamentary Committee. You recall the tour we had at Kafumbe Mukasa and the route that was established by the committee. We also went to Chitezi, and you see the filth there. We also went to other places like the mortuary, and of course Sezibwa House, Mabua House, and so many other places.
Still during the probe?
Exactly, the probe was still ongoing. And the issue was, yes, we have allocated colossal sums of money towards these facilities, towards these sectors. Where is value for money?
Did you have to call Parliament?
No, it was...
Did you have to use your muscle?
To carry out the
investigations, yes.
No. Parliament is the ultimate organ of government that deals with matters of accountability.
I know, but before going to Parliament, didn't you have the mandate to do this yourself with your councillors?
Oh yes, we did that, and I called several meetings, you recall. The last one was convened on 29th of November. And you remember what transpired in that meeting. I didn't realize the quorum. And time and again, when we demanded for accountability, the executive director would say, who are you to demand for the same? And yet this is one of the core mandates we have. I mean, as the authority, in addition to making policies, we play the oversight role. And I organized that forum where accountability is supposed to be produced. And the executive director would shun meetings. So what did you expect me to do? So
now, taking you back to what we are looking at today, Lord Mayor, is this in any way meant to divert us from the real issues, the probing in itself?
Definitely. If you know what red herring is, this is exactly what it is.
Now, Lord Mayor, we need to do a piecemeal scrutiny of all the stories. Did you travel to China?
I did. And
on the invitation of Photon East Africa?
No, listen, my travel to China was never a secret. I even held a press conference, and surprisingly, it didn't feature anywhere in some of, not all, in a number of media houses. It was publicized. But those who are choosing me never publicized it.
How did you get connections with Photon East Africa?
They were sent to me by the minister in charge of Kampala. in the course of doing my duties, and I met them nowhere, save my office.
Yeah, but
they came to my office. No, a delegation came to my office after meeting with the minister, and they wanted to open up their business here. They already established in Kenya, but they wanted to start their business here. And they wanted the mayor, they had requested the minister for Kampala to invite the mayor, but the minister said, no, that's the mandate of the Lord Mayor.
All right.
To invite the mayor of Beijing. So they come to me with a request that I invited the mayor and I should also be there and so on and so forth. Then I asked, what do you do? I didn't know them before. Said we deal in heavy commercial trucks, we deal in all sorts of automobiles. And of course, I said, okay, I said, give me some time to study you. I looked at their website and so on and so forth. And then they said, if you are not trusting us, we could even arrange. You go to China and meet the mayor. That's how it all started. I said, oh, that's welcome. I can go. They made the arrangements with the mayor of Beijing. And they said, okay.
Was this an official trip?
It was, because they were sent to me by the minister to invite the mayor of Beijing. And I could not just send the invitation without establishing the issues surrounding this.
Ordinarily, is an interested investor meant to facilitate your trip and your tour of their facilities, or it's the authority that's meant to pay for this?
No, I've had a number of trips. Some are sponsored by the organizers. They organize conferences. They invite me. Some are organized by foreign governments. They invite me.
So your invite was formal?
It was formal. I even went to, before even that, I had a similar trip to Turkey, a delegation which was led by Honorable Bright Wamiram. There was Father Okodo, there was Honorable Barieku, there was the Minister for Lands, and we met business.
And who funded it?
It was funded by the taxi people. What normally they do, for them, they can offer you a business class. No, not a business, no, economy ticket. But KCCA in most cases tops up, because that's my right. So in the case of Turkey, there was a top up because I could not travel economy, and that's what exactly happened. But for this case, then KCCA had to just come in to help in a situation where they cannot afford. But in this case, they gave me business class ticket, and I went.
What's the procedure of traveling in the authority?
All the travels are conducted through the office of the Lord Mayor, because we have a big team of political leaders, over 200 something, including the mayors and the councillors and councillors of division, urban councils, and all those leaders. So the system we have, if you've got an invitation, we have to look at the relevancy it has in the office. We have to look at the relevance it has got and so on, and that's my prerogative.
That's before you're traveling.
Before you travel.
All right.
All these mayors, the councillors, there are even forms they have to fill to bring it to my office. I look at the trip and say, no, this is what can happen. In the case of a trip where I'm requested to send a delegation, it's my discretion to choose who to travel with, just like it is with the president or the Speaker of Parliament.
Did you go through the same procedure as well?
Where?
I'm looking at the forms, the signing here and there. They're also looking at the relevance of your trip.
Yes, of course. I've said if it is a trip where I'm supposed to select the delegation, it is me, it's my discretion, entirely my prerogative to determine who should go,
all right,
who should travel with me.
All right.
So in this particular case, I chose 3 councillors, two, my deputy, Sulaiman Chidandala, and then Councillor Nisewanyana, and then my assistant.
At the invitation and funding of Photon East Africa, right?
Of the Chinese team, they said they were going to work hand in hand with the office of the mayor of Beijing.
So who invited you?
I was requested by the Photon East Africa to invite the mayor of Beijing. Then I did say, before I invited the mayor of Beijing, I have to get I have to establish first and foremost the nature of this, and to understand the mayor, why I'm inviting him. That's when they suggested I meet the mayor. So they organized the mayor to receive me. I went and I met the mayor. It's big delegation. And it's, you know, in protocol. Because I hold a diplomatic passport, I can't just travel like that. I had to go through our ambassador. So I went to, you know, Charles Wagidoso is our ambassador in China. So we went to the ambassador. We have a consulate in Guangzhou. We also went there, and then the mayor, and thereafter inspected all the establishments of Photon. And I specifically requested the mayor that much as the link in here is Photon, but for me, my view, we have to have a bigger perspective of this, where we should have a benchmarking, because I told these people that I want to have a twinning arrangement between Kampala and Beijing. And they said, oh, that is perfect in order. Secondly, they had said they wanted, they had another team, because there was a team from Kenya, which was headed by the Vice President of Kenya. That was also there. They also, actually, they had wanted me to attend the opening ceremony in Nairobi. But I said, no, I cannot do that before I visit China. I sent somebody else. Now, when we reached China, I concentrated, and we met the mayor, Beijing. The issue was about benchmarking, and he asked me about those areas. I said, okay, transport sector is one of them, because you've got advanced technology. There were areas of solid waste management. There are other areas, but he said, okay, now that we have got in touch, we have acclimatized, we have acquainted ourselves with one another, the next thing is arrange when I come to Kampala. He was supposed to come in July. The trip was in May. He was supposed to come to Kampala. He said, no, we can sign the twinning agreement, a memorandum of understanding, that now there is a twinning arrangement, benchmarking arrangement between Kampala and Beijing. And we agreed that would be done when he comes to Kampala in July. So the first trip the first delegation, I've told you, the Vice President Kenya. The second delegation, the Minister of Kampala was supposed to go there. Mr. Mururi Mukasa was also supposed to be there. And all along, all the arrangements were made with the understanding that Mr. Mururi Mukasa would be there. At the 11th hour, just let me complete this. It was just at the 11th hour when I was told that Mururi would not go, but he's sending his assistant. His assistant is Haji Musisi and another team. When I reached China, that's when I was introduced to it. I knew Haji Musisi that was traveling with us with another team. That's when they brought in another person and others. This is Michael Nwagira, that was in the team sent by the minister for Kampala. Now, surprisingly, when you look at this story, the way it was twisted up, that this guy is Sujui Toyota, who was not known to me at all. I'd never seen him before. I didn't know him, that he was also in my team, which is factually wrong. And they had no audacity to cross-check either with my office. If they could not believe me, they could cross-check with Mururi Mukasa's office. I don't think he would disown him. Haji Musisi, I don't think Haji Musisi Yusuf, personal assistant to Mururi Mukasa, was also there. He was the leader of that team sent by the minister. And it was a genuine trip in my assessment. So when we come here, why it turns out...
Did you receive some pleasantries from the Chinese company?
Let me tell you one thing, what happened there. Yes, they accommodated us. And the other thing they did for us, probably, I think, I don't know, I wish they could particularize the material.
You got allowances?
Nothing. No benefit, nothing. I don't know the material benefit. Is it the meals we ate? Is it the... Yes, we visited. We visited the Forbidden City, you know, that historical site. We visited...
At their expense.
Listen, it cannot be entirely on somebody's expense. I had my own money in the first place.
But regardless, we are looking at
this is a trip sanctioned by KCCA.
let me tell you, I addressed the KCCA, I addressed the press conference. When I returned, and the official communications were made, because I'm in charge of KCCA.
All right.
I made official communications, which went to the office of the executive director, which went to the minister and everybody. And on my return, because actually the trip was known by the minister in charge of Kampala, and he sent his team. So what do you mean? So when we reached, even on my return, I convened a council session and I explained everything.
Did you declare what you had received from China?
I've told you there was not. What could I declare when there was nothing?
There was nothing. You never
received.
How about your councillors?
They received nothing from China.
Lord Mayor.
And actually, for your information, the Chinese are not complaining about the trip. This is where the mix-up comes in. They are not complaining about it.
No, we are building up to what is coming next.
Okay.
We're getting to where we need.
Now, if I may ask, Lord Mayor, did you by any chance promise to offer an authorization to the Chinese company for them to come up with that, to start up a motor vehicle showroom?
Not at all. And this is where, actually, even in the Kabishenga publication...
No, it's a New Vision.
Okay, the New Vision publication. They are not saying that I personally promised to help them construct a showroom in a road reserve. And this is where I wanted to explain to you. All the heap of documents is here, to the effect that actually the authorization was done through the office of the executive director. There was a meeting, the documents here indicate 17th July, where they sat in the office of the technical people. This is the director of physical planning, the staying engineer, the supervisor building control, and many others. They meet, they receive the plans in the office of the executive director. And
because you had blessed Photon earlier on, to the extent of moving to China, where they
had not at any one moment suggested that they were constructing a showroom in a road reserve. And the issue comes at a time, I'm telling you, listen to this.
Yes.
They bring in the plans submitted to the office of the director of physical planning. A meeting of the technical team is convened in the office of the executive director, and I did not attend. I was not even invited. They authorized the construction of this. They give them the commencement permit. They give them the holding permit to cordon off the place. They tell them, please go ahead with the construction. And in this authorization, somewhere they indicate that the road reserve should be 15 meters from the main road to the building, 15 meters. Now,
did you ever do a feasibility study of their interests before even traveling to China?
This is the feasibility study I was conducting, starting with their character, with their business, what they do, and to establish whether actually in China. Actually, for your information, they are well established in China. It's one of the best, if not the best, manufacturing company in that particular regard. What I was saying here, listen, when they were authorized 15 meters to leave a road reserve of 15 meters, they write back, again writing to the director of physical planning. The director requesting that, no, 15 is too wide. Why don't we leave only 10 meters?
And you knew where they wanted to construct?
I'm telling you, it's not my role. It's not my duty to get for them premises.
Yeah, but no. At that time you knew all that was going on.
No, this happens even after the trip to China. Because the trip to China was in May. All this authorization and everything is done by the technical team in June, July. And my office was kept out of the know completely. And it was done by the technical team. And that's why I want this investigated. So the 15 meters, they said reduced to 10. Now, director of physical planning replies and says, no, that would not augur well. So what we do? Okay, add just to 12. They strike a compromise. They share the 5.
Were you receiving these correspondences?
Nothing. It's after the allegations were made, then I embarked on the investigation. And that's when I land on these documents.
All right.
And they clearly indicate that 15 they were authorized to construct in a road reserve. One thing I should make very clear. I'm saying they. Actually, it dawned on me, it took me by surprise to discover that it's not actually Photon that was constructing. No. I got a shock of my life. It's not Photon that was constructing. And that land, it's 42 Port Avenue. No, Naira Avenue. It doesn't belong to Photon. It belongs to a gentleman called Geoffrey Rugazora Ruakana, who up to now is not known to me. The documents indicate that they were dealing Photon care of Geoffrey Rugazora Ruakana.
Now let's look at the substance in the IGG report. Your officials.
There is no report.
Your personal assistant.
No, Simon. Now you are being misled by the report.
Lord Mayor, if I may
in the
ask,
New Vision.
Lord Mayor, if I may ask, have you in any way been summoned by the IGG over these same issues?
You see, before you even talk of summons, because it's neither here nor there. Why? Because even in the New Vision report, clearly indicates that there is no complaint against Lukwago.
Yes.
But there is a complaint
against your personal assistant who used your office to obtain money.
Who used her office? Because yes, she works in my office. Who allegedly used her office? Because she was employed in her own right through public service. And she's not a political assistant as alleged in the New Vision. You said I should not mention Kabushenga, but this is Kabushenga doing this. She is a personal assistant in charge of administration. She is supposed to, I have a political
assistant to the Lord Mayor.
To the Lord Mayor in charge of administration.
Who appointed her?
She's public service. I recommended her. She's supposed to liaise with the administration, so that in whatever goes on, I'm kept in the loop. What happens because I can't be in the administration all 24 hours as the political head. So she's...
Yeah, but you take blame for her misdeeds, don't you?
If I've said this and I want to be on record, I'm not here to defend my personal assistant in charge of administration. And this is why I said, if Kabushenga or New Vision were to be fair to me, they would report that, if they reported that there are investigations against my personal assistant and other people involved, there would be no problem. But to bring a screaming headline that Lukwago is under investigation, when you know very well there is no complaint against Lukwago, it is not there.
Yeah,
so what is there?
With or without a complaint against Lukwago, do you feel it is sensible for you to take a trip?
No, before you come to that, you asked the investigations, and I want to be clear on this. Because I said I don't want to defend anyone. That's the reason I've written to the IGG personally after discovering all these documents, and I said, help us get to know the truth behind this. I wrote and I addressed a press conference, and I said, whether it is my personal assistant, whether it is the director of physical planning, whether it is the office of the executive director, whether it is who or a supervisor building control, and if need arises, they can even go to the vice president, because he wrote a letter to the executive director saying that please allow the construction to go ahead. They stay there for 1 year and then relocate.
That was before the demolition.
Before the demolition. Now, and the vice president says they had a meeting over that same issue, and they had no cut say, oh, listen, just let me complete this. There was a meeting in the vice president's office where I was not invited, involving the vice president, the executive director, and other directors from KCCA, where that resolution was taken. And actually the vice president was communicating what they resolved in the meeting, that look, this is what we agreed upon in the meeting, where I was not at all invited. And they agreed that they allow, notwithstanding the fact that this is a structure in a road reserve, that they should allow it to continue.
So where does the Lord Mayor come in? Because you seem not to be attached to, and according to what you just told
me. This is the very reason I'm saying the headline of New Vision and the book they were misleading.
Now, Lord Mayor, what's your relationship like with Photon East Africa? Having been such indulging hosts to you when you went to China, what's your relationship now like?
Which relationship? I have had no personal business relationship with Photon or anything. One thing, I'm always being accused of frustrating investors here, of always opposing whatever comes to Stay Hall. You've had those accusations. Now the minister sends a team of investors who want to come here, and they want support from my office in form of inviting the minister, rather inviting the mayor. What did you want me to do? To chase them away?
So, do you feel government could have used Photon to dupe you into this dubious deal?
This is what I want to investigate, the involvement of Toyota, Michael Nwagira. Who is he in the government? What does he do? And so on and so forth.
So that's something you should have questioned yourself when you met in China.
Listen, the team is already in China. We are being hosted by the mayor and the entire team. And when we came here, I raised the red flag to them that this whole thing, I really have some reservations. After all this happened and I had reported to the authority, they go ahead and agree to sit in what? In the executive director's whatever, they go ahead with the construction and so on and so forth.
Did you receive any more correspondence from Photon East Africa after your trip to China?
Nothing.
No,
There is none. And I didn't also raise any communication with them. There is no communication whatsoever that this is a communication. But like people who are trying to do business here, they kept on talking to me that, oh, we want to proceed, we want to do this. And I asked him, oh,
when you go to China, what did you discover about this company?
Let me tell you, it's a well-established company. It has got several plants. They manufacture pickups. They manufacture, they have firefighting trucks. They have road sweepers. They have they have garbage trucks and so on and so forth.
Did you get this conviction that this is a credible company?
It is a credible company. I'm telling you, I have to be honest. If you were to visit China, you discover that Photon is a credible company.
But if I may ask, while in China, what did you discuss? Why in China? What arguments did you do? Yeah, the benchmarks.
We were in the meeting with the mayor. I've told you we discussed areas where we could do.
Did you strike any deals?
Nothing. The mayor said we shall sign a memorandum of understanding between China and Kampala when he comes to Kampala. And that did not happen. He has not come because of what happened thereafter along the way.
What if the investigations reveal that actually your councillors and the deputy mayor and plus your personal assistant could have received bribes?
There is no allegation against my deputy or Councillor Alan. The allegation is against Sarah Kanyike. I've said if she received the money, I'm not here to defend her. If she ever received the money, and I want the investigations to be conducted, then the law shall take its course.
If you're keen on investigations, wouldn't you have welcomed such a report that maybe there was a screaming, in the New Vision, the report written by the New Vision, there was a screaming headline that could have been used for sales, of course, to boost their sales. But the depth of the story indicated that indeed there is filth in your office.
I embraced it. And that's the reason I wrote to the IGG to go ahead with the investigations.
But do you realize that the stories say that Sarah Kanyike, whatever money she received from Photon, was on behalf of the Lord Mayor, if I'm to quote the story right?
This is what is taking me to court. Because I've given Mr. Kabusheng a notice. If that is not retracted, if that is not withdrawn, I'm taking him to court. That's what is taking me to court.
Do you feel tainted by this story?
I'm telling you, I've gone through this. I'm used to gutter politics.
Yeah, precisely. As someone who was initiated in a baptism of fire, I would imagine you'd rubbish it. But why go that far?
I'm telling you, I'm used to all this. You recall even in the run-up to the mayor elections, what happened? Even my name was a subject of litigation. Just why Erias with the Y and Erias minus Y. We went up to court. You recall how I went even to electoral commission and so on and so forth. Did that deter people from electing me the Lord Mayor? The issue is, do you look at the circumstances under which this allegation is being made and the truth of it? So I'm saying those aspects which tended to taint my name, I'm going to court. Because my record is very clean. It speaks for itself. To say that somebody could have received money, even to insinuate, to make that innuendo.
I would imagine that the other party is also ready for the legal ramifications.
Fine, we shall meet in court. And the good thing, they have continued. It's a culture.
Is this taking you off the rail in service delivery?
Not at all. I've said, you know, this is red herring.
Has Photon in any way?
Over what? Because
ever since this publication came out?
Ever since the
publication came out?
Nothing.
And before?
I have not heard from them. I've told you before, after they coming back from, yes, like people who are concerned, even during the demolition, they went to the vice president, though they never invited, but they informed me that they were going to a meeting with the vice president. I said, for me, I have no business with the construction of the structure in a road reserve. So there is nothing that I could offer.
Lord Mayor, how clean is your office?
In terms of my assistant...
Is it corrupt-free?
Oh my God. Simon, I've told you, the institution of KCCA has got a problem.
Yes. Precisely.
The entire institution.
You can't despair.
And that is the reason I went to Parliament. The entire institution. We are talking about colossal sums of money. So, if in any way my assistant in charge of administration who is involved, I will not spare her. This is what I'm telling you. Because my duty is to play the oversight role, in addition to making policies.
And what if she was involved on your behalf?
How?
Don't you feel...
because listen, I don't deal with the authorization to give a permit that go and give you start construction, you do this and that. That's not my duty.
Don't you feel that your man of relationship with the investors is quite irregular, whereby investors invite you at their cost? Isn't that so compromising?
You'll ask Mr. Mururi Mokasa, who also sent a delegation and actually was supposed to travel with us. And you'll also recall what I've told you.
Yeah, but it's fundamentally
wrong.
Listen,
I've told you, for me, I could not just go without the involvement of the office of the mayor. I cannot, for example, begin traveling anywhere and I'm not officially received. You cannot just come as a businessman, Simon, here, and just take me anywhere. That's why I told them I have to deal with the office of the mayor of Beijing.
Lord Mayor, if I ever invited you to carry out an audit at my place, I think I would give you a glossy impression. Naturally, I would prepare for this trip. Yeah, if you're going to investigate someone and someone then takes you on a trip, isn't that...
No, it was not an investigation.
You went to China to establish further whether indeed these people were genuine investors.
Were genuine investors.
Yes.
And I had to liaise with the office of the mayor. I had to liaise with you cross-check if I didn't go through the office of our ambassador to Beijing.
Lord Mayor, have you started questioning the trip itself?
No.
Don't you have any questions about why they facilitated the trip?
The trip has no problem at all. There's no problem, and nobody has complained. Because I've told you we went to Turkey, I've been to Hyderabad in India, I've been to several places. Because
on the invitation of the investors.
One, it can be the investor, but I don't go in private arrangements. You have to go through the proper channels. If you come and say, I deal, like these people were introduced to me by the minister, I would also request that go through the proper channels, because I have to establish links and ties between the two cities. That's why I had to bring those ties between China and I wanted to cement. And the agreement actually for the relations were going to be signed between China, between Beijing as the capital seat of China and Kampala as the capital seat of Uganda, not private arrangements.
Do you feel the new vision is bent on maligning you?
What can't you see? The evidence is on the wall. Just yesterday, you will see what they have published. Before you even come to that, before even that story, they had run a screaming headline, and I'm also taking them to court on this, that Lukwago has failed to hold the meetings in 7 months, when they know that have been holding meetings and they have been boycotted. Before again that story came.
Yeah, that literally means there's no meeting. If a meeting is boycotted, that means
convening a meeting and holding it are two different things. But that is for the courts. The other story was a screaming headline some time back.
Again in the New Vision.
By New Vision. Plans to censor Lukwago are finalized. It was a headline.
What's happening?
That is 16 councillors had signed and forwarded a petition to the minister, and you know this is the initial step in censoring or impeaching the sitting mayor. And I waited for the petition to be served on me, because after that the minister has to establish a tribunal to investigate me.
Who's behind these stories?
That was there. And looking at the story, they say, it was Luiga saying this.
Who do you suspect could be behind these stories?
Definitely, Mr. Kabushenga is the strategist for these people, in the case for Madam Jennifer Semakula Musisi on issues of media. Huge sums of monies have gone into media campaign.
What's your relationship like with Mr. Kabushenga?
I don't know how you describe it, but for him, he's all out to malign me. I have no personal grudge.
And you?
Honestly, how often have I spoken about him? In all these stories he has written about me, I've kept quiet. I've not been attacking him.
So why are you coming out now?
Because yesterday, too much.
Yesterday when I spoke to Mr. Kabushenga, he said, well, it's up to you. The onus is on you to prove otherwise. But otherwise, they have validated info.
I agree. The onus is on me, because Mr. Kabushenga has accused me. That's why he has come up with these allegations of Rufula, which you saw yesterday. And again, the documentation.
Tell us more about this story of Rufula.
The Rufula story.
You're extorting money with 18 others.
It's very, very unfortunate. This is another matter where I'm going to court. Because, let me respond to this first, Doreen. Because where is the where are the particulars? If you read the story, it's horror.
Mpimbaza
Asaka, the RCC, Mpimbaza Asaka
to the IGP.
How often? I mean, for how long has he been in Kampala here? For as RCC, he comes. He doesn't even go to roof. He has never stepped in the Abattoir, for example. I mean, for the starter, he has never been there. Now, how does he know what is going on the ground?
Asking what basis?
Mbimbaza Asaka has never stepped in the Abattoir, not even a single day.
Yeah, but he's abreast with whatever goes on in the city.
How?
He's the RCC.
No, he's alleging that I'm collecting money from there. Has he been there? And I've not stepped in Rufula ever since Wichester Basajja Balaba.
Are you collecting money from the Abattoir?
Definitely, that cannot be true. That cannot be true, because...
Yeah, but this place had been locked and you went and opened it forcefully.
There was a petition that was brought to us by these people operating there. And the executive director was quick to write, I have this communication 7th September 2001. The matter is as old as this. To say, please be informed that Rufula, Kampala, Abattoir, and the land on which it sits was leased out by the then Kampala City Council on June 4th, 2001 for a term of 49 years to Messrs. Basajja Balaba Hides and Skins, and is now a private entity that is managed privately by Messrs. Basajja Balaba Hides and Skins Company Limited. Now, if that was the position of KCCA, now the allegations that I'm collecting money on his behalf. So listen, I got this complaint. I said, for me, I'll keep on investigating. Basajja Balaba had locked up the Abattoir.
Right.
These people had brought their cows. They could not access the slaughterhouse. The water supply was cut off. The power was off. The whole place was actually it was a real mess. And there was a catastrophe which was going to break out in Kampala, because that's the only national Abattoir we have. And when we investigated further, Mr. Basajja Balaba had illegally transferred this property, because he had got a lease illegally. He had transferred it into the names of Daniel Katarihwa. And Daniel Katarihwa was moving behind the scene to turn it into a terminal, a bus terminal for a bus company. I'm forgetting the name. But Travelers Coach, yes, Travelers Coach. He wanted to establish a bus terminal. And we asked, wait a minute. Where is the national abattoir we have? Karerwe is not a national abattoir. It's private. Chitebi or Wankurukuku is equally private. And they are all in a sorry state. Now, the only national abattoir is going to be transformed into a terminal. And what is going to happen here? When I was in Itake, Honorable Bright Rwamirama had introduced an idea which was not known to me. He said, oh, we intended to establish the abattoirs in the rural areas. Say they were proposing here Bushenyi. They said, how can you do that? Yes, it would be a good idea, but it has to cut across, because cows do not come from only one direction. They don't come from Mbalala or Bushenyi, whatever. There are those from Luwero Ngoma, there are those from Nakasongola, others from Mubende, even Museveni's other home in Chisozi, they are from Soroti, all over. So if we were to come up with such a policy, it would be a nice one, that we transport meat instead of cows.
Who took charge of this abattoir
I'm coming to that.
Forcefully opened it?
I'm coming to that. So, Mr. Basajja Balaba had lost interest in the business of running Sitabat, and we are investigating this issue of ownership. Now, he goes to court. Court directs that the vendors, court directs, they filed a temporary injunction, which he lost. Court says the status quo be preserved. The vendors there should run the Sita Abattoir. And they should maintain it. KCCA, we told them, for us, we cannot give you, we want, because sanitation is our concern, you must provide water, you must provide, you pay for your electricity, you must work on the cleanliness, you must work on everything to keep it clean. That is no compromise on that. So that is their obligation. And as far as I know, that's what they do.
So who is collecting dues in?
Let me tell you, KCCA is not collecting dues from there, nor my office, nor anyone.
Then why again these allegations?
I don't
where
know.
Where are they coming from? And
where were these allegations taken? Let me tell you, if it was true, this is a serious matter which would be a criminal offense. Now, Mimbaza say at first he said it was Lukwago, Kaihura, and Kawes who are collecting this money. Then Kawes goes on the media and tells him, if you dare say it again, I will arrest you. From that very place where you make that statement, he started trembling. He abandons Kawes. Now, he writes a letter, Imbaza writes a letter to the same person he says I was colluding with to collect the money. Does it make sense?
Now, finally,
he has written to Kaihura,
finally,
whom he alleges that we are collecting the money together.
Hand taking the city, if you, as you claim?
Let me tell you, the battle to clean up an institution has never been that simple. If you imagined that it would just be a mere walkover, you would be I think you would get a disillusion.
So you're ready for more confrontation?
That would be an illusion on my part. I'm very much ready for worse than this.
And finally,
even for personal attacks or whatever, family and whatnot. I'm telling you, I'm prepared for this, but I'm not going to be deterred.
Finally, what's happening to the Lord Mayor?
What is happening? I'm continuing with my duty. The parliamentary probe is going on. We have to sort out the issue of maladministration in the KCCA. I'm supposed to streamline the policy making system. That's the only way we can go. We have to get every stakeholder in the development of capital city, much as a particular group wants to isolate others and say they are the only people with a vision to turn around the city. We are saying we are not going to be deterred from.
All right, thank you very much, Lord Mayor. It was nice hosting you. We will continue seeking accountability and digging deeper into the most provocative stories. The Morning Breeze continues. Good morning.